Get a house, get a wife. No house, no wife.
I don't think that's right.
Yes, this would be tough for me. It's not the same in the UK, but it's the same sort of responsibility. Yes, they would like fathers or mothers would like their daughters to be with a man who could potentially buy a house.
I've heard of it. This is a cultural difference, right? This is different mindsets. A house is not an end in itself. I mean, it's nice to have a house, but it shouldn't be a definite to marry a woman.
It's very, very expensive in China to buy a house. So if they buy it, they will not have much money left for other things, like travel, like buying a car, etc.
And if family is important and having a partner is important, then you better get a house, it sounds like. But if your focus is on your profession and not finding a significant other, then get a house down the road.
Yeah, mostly after they get married or before they get married, they would both come together to buy a house and then they would live there together.
They can stay with their parents if they want, but it's not very common. Maybe they will stay each at this parent house, but soon after they marry, they will buy a house usually.
They live with their parents longer because it's so expensive to live by themselves. After they're married, yes, usually then, when there are two incomes, two people working, making money, then they can buy a house.
Yes, they do. Everyone aspires to buy their own property and to own their property. Different areas makes it a little bit easier or more difficult. As I said, London is much more expensive than the rest of the country.
I think most of them have to work for 4 years or so to gather a bit of stock capital, and then they may buy or build a house at the age of 31.
Is it? Oh, right. Well, it's not really popular, but yeah, it happens.
It depends on the parents. There are some parents that support children, yes.
If they can help their children, then yes, this is the best way to buy the property, yes.
Very often, yes. Maybe they will provide the initial payment for the bank, and then the children pay the mortgage.
Not so much, no. They work for a while and earn money and then buy. Yes. 30-something, 30 years old? Yeah.
No, they actually had to earn the money by themselves and then invest it, also at an age of 30.
About 3 years ago. Before that, I lived on a sailboat for 15 years. I do. I do have a condo, yes. No, my husband and I did it, bought it together. But we are getting older to buy a house because they're so expensive now. Much more expensive than they were.
I have a house in my own town. No, I made a loan. It was going to be paid actually this month. I'm very happy. Yeah, I bought it like about 10 years ago.
I have no house in Shanghai and no house in Germany. Not in the near future, but midterm, so let's say within the next 8 years. In our country, the women are also more self-confident. Think they can even help the man to buy a house. So.
I rent because it's too expensive and I don't need one. I like to be free to move. I don't think it's necessary, no. Well, I don't have one and I'm still alive, right?
I can only speak to Chicago, but in Chicago, you don't need a house to get a wife.
You can both get a house together, doesn't have to have a house when he's like 24, 25, because it's really expensive and he's still quite young, so yeah.
Yes, I would love to. In London, it's quite difficult. It's very expensive at the moment, so it takes a lot of saving.
I think it's a great idea. I did the same, so it's better to have your own place, because even if you don't live in, you still can rent it, so you can pay the mortgage and having an income eventually. Yeah. In France, it's a bit the same. Let me put it this way: the house renting, depending on where you live, there's a huge difference. So people just can't afford an apartment close to a very good school, for instance. The level of education is still alright, so you still can find a good school close to where you have when you rent your place.